All right, so we're going to create this drawing I'm calling it iRobot. And so first thing you're gonna need to do is open up the AutoCAD and pull up a metric template. Open up the AutoCAD and pull up a metric template. So when we go to the CAD, the A up here, go to new, and you're gonna go to tutorial MMFG. Hit open. It opens up. It'll open up in this manner. You're gonna hit the model tab in the lower left. And then you're going to turn off your grid. Right now, you might have a grid on your screen. You're going to turn it off by clicking this tab here. And now let's go back and analyze our drawing and see where we're going to get started. So when I look at this, I see a line of symmetry. So that allows me to think of this thing as creating half of it and then creating a mirror. So the first thing when I create this, I want to look at it and make it real simple. I'm looking at this space right here that is of his body, and it's 50 by 46. So it tells me I have a rectangle. I'm going to start there with that rectangle. So to do that, on my drawings, in my drawing area, I'm going to click on rectangle. I'm going to click on the screen. And down at the bottom on my command line, it says specify other corner or these options. I want to do dimensions. It says specify length of the rectangle. I want to do 50. Press enter. And then 46. Press enter. Click on the screen. Keep it from following my cursor. Hit the word top on my view cube. And I'm going to move this around. Now that I've created the rectangle, what I want to do now is I want to do an explode. I left click and drag a window around the rectangle. I type EXP. This menu shows up and I click on explode. And all the lines are separate. Going back to the drawing. So I created this rectangle. Next thing I want to do is I want to create the feet. So I know that from the center here, the center line here, I am 12.75 millimeters over to the center of his circular foot right here. Okay, so, and also just analyzing this from the base of his body, I'm 11 millimeters down to the center. So 12.75 over, 11 millimeters down. Go back to the drawing. To get that, I'll create a line. And I'm going to offset that line. And it was 12.75. And then from here, I'm going to do another offset. I'm going to press enter again, change this to 11, press enter. I'm going to click on this line and extend the grip down to this point where they intersect. And that would be the center of his foot. So let's go back to the drawing real quick. That's the center that I'm trying to get to. And so they tell me to, so there's a potential to do a circle right here. And the diameter of that circle would be 12.5. So I'll go back up here to diameter, center diameter. Where these intersect at, put my cursor here, I click, I put in 12.5 for center. Off the edge of the circle here, I'm gonna make sure you turn on your object snaps. Make sure you turn on quadrant so you can pick up at this point right here. A little line, pick up my quadrant, zoom in, press enter twice, pick up quadrant, pick up the intersection. I'll have his foot. I'm going to get rid of this line. And I'm going to get rid of this line. I'm going to mirror this out. Well, I'm going to trim this up first. Trim. Here. I believe this is gone as well. And I'm going to mirror this over. I'm going to select here, here, and here. I press enter. My mirror line is here. Press enter. And I can trim this out right here. All right. The next thing I want to do is go back to my drawing. I want to look at how to get his arm. So I'm trying to build from the bottom up. So what do I know? The distance from this point to this point is 64.2. But now we got to look at the symmetry and say, well, half the distance from the center of here to the center of his arm is half of this 64.2. I got that calculated at 34.1. And then the distance from the center of here of his body to the edge of his body is 50. Sorry, from end to end is 50, but from the center to the edge of his body is 25. So I take the 34.1 and subtract 25 from it, and I end up with 7.1. So said a lot there. So now what I'm going to do is go back to the drawing. I'm going to offset this. I'm going to offset this line of his body. I'm going to offset the line of his body 7.1%. Offset here. I'll go back to the drawing. This will be the center of his arm. So once again, the total distance from the center to the center of his arm is 34.1. So that I get the spacing right, I'm going to subtract the halfway distance between here and here. I took 34.1, subtracted from 25, now with 7.1. All right, so I need to correct myself. I told you that the distance to the center of his arm is offset from here is 7.1. What I could do is made a calculation error. What I can do is offset from the center of his body the halfway, the half distance, this 64.1. So I'm going to offset this 32.1. 32.1. I'm dividing this 64 by 2. I come back to the CAD. I go to offset. Offset this 32.1. All set. Now that's the center of his arm. We'll go back to the drawing. The space between, this is the center, the space between his arms, I can find in this dimension over here. The radius is 3.6. So I'm going to come out of his arm. Oh, sorry. Now we need to get the length of his arm. So here's where it gets a little bit complicated. We're going to offset this distance, top of his body to the from the top of his body to the bottom of his head, and offset that 3.8. And then we're going to come off that point and go down to the center of his arm, 30.8. So a lot of offsets. I'm going back to offset. We'll go 3.8. I'll offset this line 3.8. Escape. I'm going to extend this line to here. And then I'm going to come down that line. I want to say it was, let me go back to the drawing. 30.8. 30.8. And that should be to the center of his hand. Let's go and check that again. Okay. So this is the point where, go back to the drawing here. This is his arm, the bottom of his arm right here. And then we have to look over here. That radius is going to be 3.6. Go back to the drawing, do a center radius. I'll put in 3.6. Now I go back to the drawing to figure out where to get the top of the rounded arm, shoulder. So I'm going to come down from this point, 6.6. So go back to line. I'm going to start here. I'll start here. I'm going to come down. I'm going to go 6.6. Press enter. Leave myself a mark out here. Press enter. Go back to center radius. Press 3.6. Now I should be able to finish off his arm. I'm going to mirror this over. I'm going to mirror. I'm only going to select, zoom in here. I'm going to select here, 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 and here. I press enter. There's the other arm, press enter. Come over here and clean this up. I'm going to do a trim. There's his body and his arms. I'm going to go back to the drawing and start looking at the head. All right, so I know that the head, once again, the spacing here is 3.8 to the bottom of his head. I'm going to go back. This goes to here. Center. I'm just drawing this line here to make sure that where I'm supposed to be. And then the radius of the head is radius of 25. So I can come out from this point here. And so let's do an arc. We'll start in radius. So start in radius. Move your cursor. Where that tab is blue, put in 25. Press enter. Go back, look at let's create the eyes. So from the base of his head to the center of his eye is 14. So from the base of his head to the center of his eye is 14. So that we get in the right place vertically. His eyes here is up 14, and the eye has a diameter of 5. That's what this symbol means. It has there's two circles with a diameter of 5. There's 2 radiuses on his arm with a radius of 3.6. So once again, from the base of his head to the center of his eye is 14. Draw that line across. Center. And then when I go back and look at the drawing, it doesn't necessarily tell me the vertical distance up here, but it didn't tell me the horizontal distance from left to right. So I made an arbitrary guess and said that to the center of his eye was half of this radius. When I come back to the CAD, I'm going to draw a line at the midpoint. I'm going to go and do an offset. I'm going to put in 12.5. Press enter. I'll set this to here. I'll set that. Remember that his eyes have a diameter of 5. I'm going to put one eye here. I'm going to mirror that over. Press enter. I'm going to get rid of this, all of this. So I'll click all of them at one time. Now comes the challenging part of getting his little antennas. So they tell me that from the center to the edge of this antenna right here is 30 degrees. So I have to look at this and say, well, this is 90 degrees right here. They're telling me that the angle from here to here is 30. So that angle is going to be 60 that I need. So I'm going to make sure I go down to my polar tracking. Make sure I got 30, 60, 90 checked. I'm going to draw a line off of here. I'm going to pick up my 60 degrees. So I'm going to click here first. When I come off of here, where that tab is blue, I'm going to type in 13. I'll show you in a second. I'm going to tab over. I want it to be 60. I press enter. So now where'd that come from? Right here, I went from the center of here off this 90, and I went up 60 degrees. And I clicked here, and then I continued until he told me the length of his antenna was 13. So I put it at 13. All right, so the space between this antenna is 1.5. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to do an offset. Put in 1.5 center. Zoom in on that. I want that on this side. All right, I'm going to draw a line across here. We're going to go back to the drawing and look at, they tell me that the rounded part here, let me zoom in on this. Rounded part here has a radius of 0.6. When I go back to the drawing, center radius, 0.6. Click the center of that space. Let me zoom in on it. I click the center of this space and I click this edge. I'm going to highlight all that, do some trimming. Okay. This is going right in here. Oops, that's not connected, so I don't want to trim that. See, that's going to trim away if I do that. I'll fix that. And that's why. I'll click on that line and stretch it to that intersection. Go back out. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to highlight this again. Do a trim. Now I can trim that out without losing it. I can delete this line. Highlight it again. I'm going to do a mirror. I'm going to do a mirror without having a mirror line, as long as I have a point of symmetry, midpoint, quadrant. Press enter. Highlight it. Trim. Now, one more thing I need to do is put a fillet on these corners. So when I go up here to fillet, it's asking me, what do you want to do? These are my options. I click on radius. The fillet is, let's go back to the drawing, 2.5. I'll go back to the CAD, type in 2.5, press enter, zoom in, click this line, I press enter, zoom in over here, click this line, zoom out, hit escape. Now I can just go about putting my dimensions on it. So let's see, we might need to do some modifications to the dimensions. Let's see, go from here, here, well, I got 60. What I got, make some changes here. This is 25. So I got my 64.2, I've got 50. Just trying to illustrate the dimensions just like here on the paper. 12.5 to the center. Oops. So highlight here, pick up here, I'm in dimension mode. Oops. Up here. $12.75. Move this down. Going back to my linear option. Click the center here. Click the center here. Go back, make sure that's right. 12.5. Press enter. Stay in dimension mode. Radius here. Radius here. I have a diameter on his eyes. Let's go back to the drawing. Got 3.8 from here to here. I have 46 from here to here. I have 11. Press enter. I have 11 from the base of here to the center of here. See what else I got. 11, 46, 14 to the eyes. I got 17. I must have missed it somewhere. I got it right on this side. Yeah, 14. I picked the wrong spot. There it is, 11. Doing a line. I want to do 13 on here. And I'm going to change something on his eyes. Right click. I'm going to erase this. I'm going to draw a line down, find the midpoint. I'm going to do an offset. I want to go 11. Didn't do this before, so I'm trying to correct my mistake. And then it should have been 14 from here up. And across. I'm going to delete this dimension. I'm going to take his eyes and I'm going to move them. I'm going to move, grab the center, move again, grab the center. Now that's correct. I didn't pick up on that dimension before. Get rid of all of this. Real easy fix. Not getting that 14, probably because this dimension line is in the way. So let's get rid of that. See if we can pick up this 14. Picking up 14 over here. Right on the other side. 14 there. Let's get rid of this one. Maybe I'm a mistake. Mirror this over. Center. Click here. Center. Rid of this line. Let's see. Let's see if I'm getting that 14 now. There we go. That's what I wanted. And that is what I call iRobot. This is trying to give you an opportunity to work on a lot of the stuff that we've been doing in class, and help increase your skill level.